Imagine that only a few people know about a secret, the power of separation. This secret leads us on a trip that tests our core beliefs. Doesn't it seem controversial? Most people think that connection means love and care, but I'm going to tell you something that goes against what you might think. Separation can be the key to a happier and healthier life. Doesn't that sound impossible? After that, get ready for a shocking reveal. This video will show you the less trodden roads of emotional and material separation. I will show you psychological practices and points of view that may seem to go against each other, but are necessary for your emotional health and personal growth. Are you ready for a big change that happens quickly? Do not miss this one-of-a-kind chance to learn how to break free from unseen chains and make your mental connections stronger and healthy. In a strange way, the first step on the road to distancing is a step back, wanting a time of separation, not to make a whole, but to gain perspective. Think of yourself at a party where everyone is talking and the music is loud. It can be hard to tell what a friend is whispering in this situation. Just like the noise at a party can make it hard to think straight. When we are too involved with someone or something, our feelings can get worse. When you take a step back, it's like leaving that loud place and going to a quieter one where you can enjoy your own company and think more deeply. Seneca, a sage with deep thoughts, said that going back to oneself was very important. This return is about more than just distance. It's also about how you feel and what you think. When our feelings get in the way of our judgment, stepping back lets us enjoy them like a spectator, watches clouds move across the sky, knowing that they are not us. This distance is not the same as indifference. It's a way of looking at things and our responses without bias, like we're looking at the whole game and not just the piece we're holding. The Stoics said that people should live alone in a village in the country, but these days it's not necessary. Sometimes it's enough to just quiet your phone, go for a walk, or sit in a room. The most important thing is to find a place where the constant noise of normal life doesn't drown out your ideas and feelings. Sometimes, when we're alone and quiet, we can make choices based on reason, deep thought, and our own inner knowledge, rather than our fleeting emotions. This backstep is your power tool. Get into a place where you can breathe easily and see past the fog of the present. The second step in separation is to think about why you need space in a logical way. To cut ties with someone is not a hasty choice, but the result of careful thought, which is a sign of Stoicism's knowledge and virtue. Thought experiment. Picture your life as a boat trip, and the people in it as winds and currents. Some of these will help you sail smoothly, while others could send you into rough water. It is very important for the captain of this ship to know which winds to favor and which storms to avoid. This choice is not a getaway. It is a planned change in the direction of your life that is in line with your ideals and well-being. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who rose from being a slave to becoming a wise man, said that it is important to choose relationships that are in line with who we are. When you look at your relationships as windows, you can see what they show you: peace, growth, and understanding, or doubt, pain, and stress. Deciding to be detached is not the same as giving up something. It's a choice you make to protect your own morals and ethics. Stoicism doesn't promote a cold reasoning. Instead, it promotes knowledge that makes us think about what people bring to our lives, harmony or discord. When you think about this choice, remember what Epictetus said: "What bothers us is not what happens, but what we think about what happens." The decision to remove yourself from someone is not just about that person, but also about how you see them affecting your life. They might show an exciting new part of your growth or a side note that takes you off track. In the end, choosing to be apart is a way to make your life a story you are proud of. It means swearing to stay true to yourself, your beliefs, and your journey. Stoicism teaches us to value connections that make our stories better and to politely stay away from those that don't. Building a life where every person and event is carefully chosen is not the point. The point is to make a story that is real and has value. Having a talk with someone you trust is the third step on this path of growth. When life seems like a puzzle with pieces that don't fit together, it's time to look to Stoic advice for help. The toughness of great thinkers also shows how important relationships are, stressing that trusting someone is like finding an anchor in the storm. This exchange is more than just a stream of consciousness. It brings insight and new points of view. Having someone help you find your way when you don't seem to be able to figure things out on your own is like having a co-pilot on your life journey. Seneca, who had a deep knowledge of people, thought that giving information was important. He thought of a friend as a mirror that shows not only how we look, but also our inner selves. This exchange isn't just a mirror of who we are, it's also a way to figure out where we're going. When we open up to someone, we're not just talking, we're letting them into our inner world and showing them how we feel and what we think. Sharing makes a place for understanding and support, where people can share their grief and gain useful insights. It's important to carefully think about who to trust and choose someone who stands for the values we hold dear. This person helps us figure out our feelings and thoughts by echoing them back to us. Their job isn't to solve our troubles. Sometimes all they need to do is listen. Their presence helps us remember that we are not alone on this path. As you share your thoughts, the person you're talking to may reveal little gems of knowledge in their words, truths that shed light on different points of view. Stoicism teaches us that the hardest things in life can be dealt with in peace and with the help of a close group of people. Your friend is an important part of this group, which shows that power often comes from working together. Getting away from someone or something doesn't mean giving up everything that makes us human. In fact, these connections with other people are what give us the power and clarity we need to find our way through the complex fabric of life. You find real bridges to clarity and bases to help you navigate the changing seas of life in talks with this trusted person that go beyond simple small talk. Setting limits for our feelings is the fourth step toward separation. Being in charge of a ship during a storm is a lot like being in charge of strong emotions. The goal of Stoic teaching is not to avoid these waves, but to learn how to move through them with skill and wisdom. In other words, we need to know when to let the waves take us and when to keep our hands on the ship's controls. Having emotions is a normal part of being human, but if we don't set clear limits, they can get in the way. The skill is being able to feel these feelings without letting them take over. Epictetus, who had a deep knowledge of the human spirit, tells us that what matters is not what happens, but how we understand it. This knowledge is very important for setting emotional limits. It's like having a guardian in our minds who accepts our feelings as guests, but doesn't let them take over our inner space. For instance, when we're angry, we know it's there and why it's there, but we don't let it control our actions or feelings. To define our feelings is to talk to them, figure out what they're for, and guide them so they don't get in the way of our reasoning. In real life, setting these limits might mean giving yourself time to feel a certain feeling. We can say to ourselves, I'm going to let myself feel this frustration right now, but then I'm going to focus on finding a solution. This doesn't mean ignoring the feelings, it just means holding them in check. It takes a lot of balance, like a tightrope dancer who knows they're in danger but keeps their eyes on the rope. When we do this, we honor our feelings without holding them hostage. We feel, we understand, and then we guide them back to a place of peace and reason. Emotions aren't being pushed down during this process. They're being managed and kept in check. The fifth and most important step in the distancing process is to carefully think about what might happen as a result of the split. When we come to a fork in the path of separation, it's important to stop and look at all of the options. Stoicism doesn't tell people to make snap choices. Instead, it stresses how important it is to think things through carefully. Think of each road as a possible future, with different results at each turn. What are you going to find on the path of distance? Will it be growth, peace, and a stronger sense of who they are, or regret and a wish for what they left behind? This practice in planning isn't about accurately guessing the future. It's about being smart about how you prepare. Marcus Aurelius, who was ruler and had to run a huge kingdom, used to think about the past to help him plan for the future. This is similar to the Stoic idea of using the past to help you make decisions about the future. Think about the times you took a step back and review the results. Did the space give you clarity and peace, or did it leave you feeling alone and full of regret? Think back on the past and use what you've learned to help you find your way in the future. It's also important to think about how your choice will affect other people. Stoicism helps us find a balance between our own wants and the needs of others. When you separate, ask yourself if this action will help you grow as a person and make other people's lives better, or if it could hurt others or lead to mistakes. This step isn't just about looking out for yourself. It's about making sure that your well-being fits in with the bigger picture of our lives. It's like going carefully through a yard, making sure that your steps help the plants grow instead of hurting them. From a Stoic point of view, detachment is an act of careful understanding, a choice that takes into account not only the self, but also the complicated web of connections that bind us all together. Take a break from social media. This is the sixth step on the path to loss of attachment. Think of your mind as a calm lake. Now, picture social networks as raindrops that are always making that smooth surface rough. Every update, alert, and contrast is like a drop in the lake that makes it less peaceful. This philosophy, which comes from a time before computers and the internet, gives us timeless advice on how to deal with these kinds of distractions. When Seneca thought about how short life is, he might have seen social media as a current source of many pointless distractions, especially when trying to separate from things. This step is about taking back our time and attention and deciding where to put our important energy on purpose. People want our attention more than anything else on social media. By staying away from them, we're not only escaping a digital flood, but we're also giving our brains a chance to rest and think. It's like drawing the curtains to block out the noise of a busy street. The noise stays, but for a moment it's not what we're paying attention to. Your current location is peaceful, making it easy for you to think and understand. It's not a getaway to take a break from social media. It's an act of self-care that helps us figure out what makes us stronger and what makes us weaker. During this pause, pay attention to how your mental state has changed. You may feel calmer, more present, and more aware of your own feelings and thoughts. To be a Stoic, we must be self-aware enough to know what we can control and let go of what we can't. Let's not forget that we can't stop the rain, but we can find a place to hide and enjoy the sound of the drops without getting wet. Stopping to use social media might feel like jumping off a fast-moving train, but it's in the stillness that we can see things more clearly. When you take a break from technology for a while, remember what Seneca said and use that time to do things that will make you feel better, like reading, walking, writing in a notebook, or doing hobbies that make you feel good. This break is a chance to get back in touch with yourself, a chance to find your soul again in peace and quiet, away from the noise of the crowd. Getting closer to your most basic wants is what the seventh step of the separation path is all about. It's important to keep our attention on the core of who we are as we move forward on this road. This is what Stoicism is all about: focusing on what's important for our own growth and happiness. This means getting rid of the unnecessary, the noisy, and the unimportant in order to grow what really feeds the mind. In addition to financial wants, you should also focus on things like mental support, moral purity, and personal growth. Think of your life as a garden. What are the most important things for your success? Find out what you need for your mental and spiritual health, just like trees need water and sunshine. Epicurus, who was born and did well in hard times, knew very well how important it is to focus on what is important. His lessons tell us to tell the difference between what we need and what we don't. Epicurus said that having few needs is what makes someone truly wealthy, not having many things. Think about what you need to feel satisfied, stable, and at peace in your mental life, and apply this philosophy to it. In a world full of options and things to do, remember that sometimes less is more. To be happy with both simplicity and depth, you have to think about what really makes you happy and at peace. In real life, this might mean setting aside time to think about what truly makes you happy, whether it's being alone, having deep talks, doing a skill, or doing other things that are good for your spirit. Figure out what these basic needs are and put them in order of importance is like packing for a trip. Only bring what will make the trip more enjoyable. Detaching from things or people that aren't in line with your basic wants is easier when you focus on them on purpose. By making these basic needs the heart of your life, you build a strong base for security and happiness. This is not a one-time thing that needs to be done. It is an ongoing process that keeps us focused on what really counts. As you go through life, keep going back to your basic wants and changing and adapting them as you change and grow. This focus is your guide. It helps you see clearly and with purpose through the complicated things that happen in life. At the heart of Stoicism is the idea that you should live, not just survive. Remember to leave a review if you like it, so that more people will interact with our content. Say, thankfulness is the key, and today's date if you don't have anything else to say. Let's go ahead. The 8th step, celebration of gratitude and the recognition of the present, is a very important turning point on the path to separation. Here, we go into a lot of detail about the virtue of thanks, which is one of the most important ideas in Stoicism. At this stage, we take a close, thankful look at what we have now and try to find the blessings and important lessons that are hidden in each of our situations. Being grateful isn't just saying thank you for the good things in life. It also means being able to appreciate the lessons that come from hard times. It's possible to see the world and our own lives from a completely different angle when we practice gratitude. Problems can be turned into steps that help us grow as people and make our character stronger. This change in perspective makes us stop focusing on what we don't have and start deeply appreciating the good things we do have. Constantly counting our gifts, whether they are important interactions, moments of peace and deep thought, or views of natural beauty, makes it easier to live in the present with awareness and fullness, which makes us stronger emotionally. Practicing gratitude is like creating a beautiful fabric of life's events. Each thread of gratitude adds color and character to the big picture of our lives. To enjoy life in its fullness, this step tells us to see each event as an important chance to learn and grow as people. So, when we add thanks to our journey of separation, we gain a greater link with the present moment and a deeper understanding of what life is all about. It feels like we're looking for an undiscovered gem, where the wealth is not only in the things we own, but also in the lessons we learn from our mistakes. I want you to be excited and interested in this 8th step, because it holds the key to a better and more important life. Step 9. Encourage people to be flexible and open to change. At this very important point in the path of separation, We are asked to accept that everything changes and that the world around us is unpredictable. Things happen all the time in life, and some of them are out of our control. What we can control, though, is how we feel and what we do in answer to these things. In this situation, having a flexible mind isn't just a quiet way to deal with changes, it's also a way to actively respond. It means being ready to let go of old ideas and ties when we need to, and being brave enough to face the unknown. It's like sailing a rough river. We have to keep changing our path to follow the currents. We don't have to give up our ideals and beliefs. We just need to find new ways to use them in different scenarios. Flexibility training can also help us become more emotionally strong. We can avoid the struggle and pain that come with fighting what is going to happen by accepting that it is a normal part of life. We learn to adapt to our surroundings instead, turning problems into chances to grow. Furthermore, being flexible gives us the ability to see the good in even the worst conditions. This doesn't mean ignoring pain or problems. It means finding ways to grow as a person through these situations. In the end, Step 9 tells us to dance with life and accept its turns and changes with grace and humility. Like a trip, life is full of new discoveries, and our ability to change and learn is what helps us do well when things are unclear. In order to achieve separation, we are setting ourselves up for a fuller, more important, and stronger life by making freedom a central concept. Step 10. Show empathy and share your thoughts. In the 10th step of the road of separation, we work on developing understanding and learning how to share. Stoic ideas have helped us understand how important it is to connect deeply with others and make a good difference in their lives. Empathy is being able to understand and share someone else's thoughts. In this step, we learn how to listen carefully, put ourselves in other people's shoes, and accept their feelings and points of view. This helps us bond with the people around us in a deeper way, building relationships based on mutual understanding and support. Sharing, on the other hand, means actively making other people happy and healthy. This can be done in many ways, from giving mental support to helping with real-world tasks. Sharing not only makes other people's lives better, but it also makes our own sense of purpose and satisfaction stronger. In this step, it's important to remember that separation doesn't mean cutting ties with other people. It means making those links more valuable. Sharing and having empathy are like links that help us bond with others in a real and deep way. By showing understanding and sharing, we make the world a kinder and more helpful place, which is in line with Stoic beliefs of virtue and kindness. Detachment doesn't make us uncaring. It makes us more aware and linked as people. This lets us live a full life. Step 11. Give your body and mind food. This is the 11th step on the road of separation. It's time to take care of our mind and body. This step is very important for keeping our bodies and minds in balance as we go through life's challenges. Mindfulness and self-reflection are good ways to start taking care of your mind. Being mindful means being in the present moment and noticing our feelings and thoughts without judging them. This helps us clear our minds and feel less stressed. When we reflect on ourselves, on the other hand, we can see how we think and act in routines and find ways to grow and get better. We also spend time reading, learning, and performing artistic skills to keep our minds healthy. In this way, we can learn new things, be more creative, and keep our minds open and interested. We know how important it is to take care of our bodies by living well, working out regularly, and getting enough rest. The body is how we experience the world, so taking care of it is an important part of living a healthy life. This step helps us remember that detachment is more than just getting rid of stress and problems. It's also about taking care of our physical and mental health. When we take care of our bodies and minds, we are better able to deal with the problems we face in life with strength and calm, which is in line with Stoic ideas of morality and knowledge. This step is a warning that taking care of yourself is an important part of the separation road. When we start to separate ourselves from problems, people, or events, the lessons of Stoicism give us a lot of deep insights and useful advice. This philosophy that goes back thousands of years tells us to step back, think carefully about the reasons why we become detached, have enlightening conversations, set limits for our emotional responses, and think about the results of the choices we make. When we focus on our basic wants and stay away from constant outside effects like social media, our actions are in line with Stoic ideals. Stoicism, which has been around for a long time, teaches us that detachment does not mean not caring about other people's feelings. Instead, it means finding inner peace and strength as we deal with complicated relationships and life's obstacles. Stoic ideals shine like a lighthouse, showing the way to a life full of virtue, knowledge, and mental strength. This philosophy gives us the tools to deal with the ups and downs of life with more peace, and it also helps us build stronger, more important relationships with ourselves and with others. Because of this, Stoicism is a useful way to live a more aware and healthy life.